For the laboratory preparation of copper sulfate pentahydride, any one of these insoluble copper salts is treated with dilute sulfuric acid. This gives us soluble copper sulfate salt. With copper oxide and copper hydroxide, along with the salt, we get water as the byproduct. With copper carbonate, along with the salt, we get both water and carbon dioxide as byproducts. Coming to the experimentation, take dilute sulfuric acid in a beaker and add any one of these three salts to the beaker with stirring. Heat it gently so that added salt dissolves in dilute sulfuric acid and gives copper sulfate as the product. Then filter the copper sulfate solution so that we get a clear copper sulfate solution as filtrate. Evaporate off the filtrate until we get a hot concentrated solution of copper sulfate. Then allow it to cool without disturbing. After some time, we will observe the formation of copper sulfate pentahydrate crystals coming out of the solution. Filter these crystals and dry it. You can go through the procedure here. This experiment is the formation of copper sulfate from copper oxide, which is black in color. During the preparation of sodium sulfate salt by titration method, soluble base, that is sodium hydroxide alkali, is treated with dilute sulfuric acid, giving us soluble sodium sulfate salt and water. In the same manner, we can even prepare potassium sulfate salt. Burette and conical flask are the apparatus which we use for titration. Normally in burette we take acid, here it is sulfuric acid, and in the conical flask we take sodium hydroxide. To this conical flask, when we add few drops of phenolphthalein indicator, since sodium hydroxide is basic in nature, solution in the conical flask turns pink. We slowly start to add sulfuric acid from the burette dropwise to the conical flask, and we keep stirring the conical flask. As and when sulfuric acid is added to conical flask, sodium hydroxide present in the conical flask reacts with sulfuric acid in this manner, forming sodium sulfate salt and water. As we continue to add sulfuric acid from the burette to a conical flask, there will be a point where the pink color of conical flask completely gets discharged. That is the point where all the sodium hydroxide in the conical flask would have got converted to sodium sulfate salt. Now we will be having a colorless solution which consists of sodium sulfate and phenolphthalein in it. Since sodium sulfate is a neutral salt, phenolphthalein will remain colorless in sodium sulfate solution. We need to transfer this sodium sulfate solution into an evaporating dish and evaporate it off until we get a hot concentrated solution or until we reach the crystallization point. Allow it to cool in some corner without disturbing so that the crystals of sodium sulfate decahydrate separates out. Filter and dry to get the dry compound. You can go through the procedure in detail in this slide. For the preparation of ferrous sulfate or zinc sulfate salt, we make use of simple displacement reaction because iron and zinc are active metals which react with dilute sulfuric acid to give salt and release hydrogen gas. Coming to the experimentation, take dilute sulfuric acid in a beaker and add zinc granules or iron fillings into it. Slowly heat this beaker with continuous stirring until effervescence ceases. This point indicates hydrogen gas has stopped evolving, meaning reaction reached completion. From this point onwards, no more zinc or iron dissolves in dilute sulfuric acid. Filter the solution to remove the undissolved iron or zinc. Then transfer the filtrate to a evaporating dish. Evaporate it off until hot concentrated solution is obtained or until crystallization point is reached. Then allow the solution to cool in a corner without disturbing. This gives us the crystals of ferrous sulfate heptahydrate or zinc sulfate heptahydrate depending upon what we have taken in the first step. Filter it and then dry the sample to get the crystals. You can go through the detailed procedure here. Ferric chloride salt can be prepared by direct combination method. In this, when iron metal is heated with chlorine gas, this gives us ferric chloride salt. Chlorine gas needed for this reaction can be obtained by the reaction between oxidizing agent MnO2 and HCl. Here, HCl undergoes oxidation and releases chlorine gas. In the experiment, iron wire coil is taken in this tube called as combustion tube. Initially, when dry chlorine gases pass through this combustion tube, it expels the air present in the tube. When we start to heat this tube, iron wire coil becomes red hot and reacts with chlorine gas forming volatile ferric chloride. Since the reaction is exothermic, once this iron becomes red hot, we can stop heating. Volatile ferric chloride once formed, it passes through this tube and will be collected or condensed in the conical flask which is kept inside the freezing mixture. The lid of this conical flask has to be closed because ferric chloride being a deliquescent salt may absorb the moisture. To maintain the dryness of this condensed ferric chloride salt, we will use calcium chloride as a drying agent. We can go through the detailed procedure over here. For the preparation of lead chloride salt, we make use of precipitation reaction. Here, when lead nitrate and sodium chloride solution are mixed, we get sodium nitrate solution and lead chloride precipitate. Keep in mind, lead chloride is insoluble in cold water but soluble in hot water. Coming to the experimentation, first we need to prepare the solution of lead nitrate in water and sodium chloride in water. After that, we need to mix those two solutions, which immediately gives us white precipitate of lead chloride. Then we need to filter the solution so that we get lead chloride salt on this filter paper. This lead chloride salt then has to be transferred to an evaporating dish and should be dissolved by using minimum amount of hot water. Then we need to evaporate off this solution so that we reach the crystallization point. Allow the solution to cool without disturbing in a corner so that crystals of lead chloride separates out of the solution. Filter and dry it. You can go through the procedure here. Even for the preparation of calcium carbonate salt, we make use of precipitation reaction. Here, calcium chloride solution in water is mixed with sodium carbonate solution in water. This gives us sodium chloride solution in water and white colored calcium carbonate precipitate. Coming to the experimentation, first we need to prepare calcium chloride solution in water and then sodium carbonate solution in water. After that, we need to mix those two solutions, which gives us white precipitate of calcium carbonate in this solution. To separate the precipitate, we need to filter it. We will get calcium carbonate white precipitate on this filter paper. To remove the trapped sodium chloride in this calcium carbonate precipitate, we need to repeatedly wash this precipitate with cold water. After that, we just need to dry this precipitate to get calcium carbonate. You can go through the procedure here.